Howdy, partners. Can you guess where I've been?
Let me guess.
On Saturday, the lovely Mrs. Blinder and this guy flew out to sunny Spain.
Gotcha, bitch!
Please subscribe. Everything was going amazing for the first 4 hours. So we went to our favourite bar in the part of Spain that we go to. We love going to Benidorm. We go there as many times every year as we can, just to watch people get drunk and fight, mainly. We had been there about 4 hours, and Mrs. Blinder just said, "Oh, I don't feel very well. I think I may be sick now." And 4 hours after we got off the plane, she threw up, and she literally didn't stop all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then she ended up in hospital on Monday. It was not a good time because so a friend of we've got friends who live in Benidorm, and one of them owns an apartment and he rents it to us for practically nothing. So we've only really got to find our flights out there. I've got to get better at booking better time flights. Poor old Callum had to drag himself out of bed at an ungodly hour this morning.
I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. I left Swansea at 6:30 this morning to go to Bristol Airport, which is about hour 20, hour and a half?
About hour and a half.
3 hours it took me to get to Bristol Airport because you booked a flight for 6 a.m., which meant you landed at like 9.
So we landed at 8:30, but it should have been 8, but we got delayed, and that wound me up as well because they didn't tell us about the delay when we were still in the airport, did they? Oh no, that would be far too easy. They waited until we were all on a plane in a boiling hot country, sat in a metal tube that looks like a giant flying dildo. They locked the doors and then said, "Oh, by the way, we're going to be delayed for an hour." Wicked. I was over.
David, are you fucking with me?
What's the worst holiday experience you've ever had? I will lay out this weekend's trip as it happened. Like I've already said, we arrived 4 hours later. Mrs. Blinder started getting ill, and then she was in bed all day Sunday. So I just sat in the apartment watching films. But luckily, my pal who owns the apartment has got this app on his TV in Spain, and I watched so many films, but there was nothing else I could do. On Sunday, it was pretty much the same again. She was in bed all day. About 8 o'clock Sunday evening, we tried to go and have a little hour wander around, see if a bit of fresh air would help. No, did it hell. Every time she tried to move, she was just throwing a ring piece up everywhere. So on Monday, then we eventually had to give up. And because I am a total and utter bell end, I have got the classic Brits abroad suntan. I am white as a ghost, apart from my sleeves down, from my knees down. I've got 2 lovely white stripes across the tops of my feet where I was wearing sliders.
Yeah, you got a tourist town.
Yeah, I know. And my head, I think if I strip naked now, I'd probably look like a mat because my head is just going to get redder and redder over the next couple of days. I have absolutely no idea why I do it to myself.
The one thing you're actually missing out about the weekend as well, even more went wrong than that because you were in Spain during the recent blackouts.
I haven't even got to that bit yet. On Monday, I managed to drag her out of the apartment. I said, "Look, a little bit of fresh air. We'll just go outside the apartment." And I said, "Can I get you anything? A drink?" And I'd love a full sugar Coke. I said, "Right, McDonald's is down there." So I go down to McDonald's and I'm stood in the queue because it's really busy. And it was my turn, so I stepped forward, the screens that you press to do your order on, and I literally touched the screen, and the whole of McDonald's went black. So I thought at first I had done something, but it turns out it was countrywide and Portugal and parts of France as well, Cal, was it?
Do you know, I'm not actually sure. I didn't Google it. I just assumed it didn't affect you because you didn't say anything.
Yeah, it's Spain, all of Spain.
Was it the entirety of Spain? The
entire country of Spain had no power. Later on that day, the power started coming back on, and it was weird. It's always noisy. Well, not noisy. There's always hustle and bustle going. There's always, you can hear music, but to walk around Benidorm by myself looking for a pharmacist with no music, but later on that night then, I said, "Look, we won't push it today now. We'll go back to the apartment, we'll watch a film." There was no internet. So I said, I'll just have a look at my phone. No phone signal either. So I don't know what the hell was going on out there. The theories I've heard is it was solar flares, but I saw something from an astrophysicist this morning when I was, it was when I was waiting for you actually to get them pick us up. He said his primary role he studies the sun's behavior daily. That's what he does. And he said, it's possible the sun, a solar flare from the sun could cause it, but he said, there's been no activity. Then I've seen it was a cyber attack. So I don't know what the hell was going on out there, but it was truly bizarre. So
You said to me earlier, in the car on the way back from the airport that you heard that it was a cyber attack.
yeah,
But
yeah.
what does that mean?
Well, I don't, can they hack the grid of a country? I don't know.
I don't know. Who?
And the thing is, in Spain, and I watched another video about it earlier, somebody who lives out in Benidorm talking about it, and they said the thing is, a lot of the property out there, they rely on electricity for water as well, because it's got to be pumped. So without
Oh,
electricity, they haven't got running water either. Not everyone, mind, just it was a truly bizarre weekend. Fire sale, it's when a hacker turns off the entire grid, which means everything goes down. Ah, right. So yeah, like I say, it hasn't been confirmed yet, and I'm not one to speculate.
That's what I was going to say. I think we have to be careful while we're talking about this.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah, exactly. But it was truly bizarre. I've never heard of an entire country losing its electricity supply at the same time. And what was interesting throughout Benidorm, the different regions in Benidorm, they were getting their power back at different times.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that if they could kill the whole country with a click of a mouse, potentially, couldn't the grid be kind of stick
Switched back
50p in the meter and boom, the country's got lights again? But there were thousands of people trapped on trains because all the trains in Spain are electric.
Oh, so the trains just stopped.
Yeah, they literally just stopped. And do you know what I thought as well? And I thought this was really interesting. Because I like to get a tattoo when I'm away if I can. There's got to be 50 tattoo studios in Benidorm. And they're all always busy because drunk people love to have things like your name tattooed on their bum cheek. And
some people get T on one butt cheek and M on the other, like my friend Tom.
Yeah. But Tom also has #GayTom tattooed on him. What if somebody was sort of in the middle of getting sleeved up or having a big back piece done? Or
that's a good point.
And they haven't, a lot of them, the only places that seem to have backup generators is, for example, certain bars out there. One that springs to mind is the Hotel California, because it's attached to a hotel, and the big hotels, especially the hotel chains, well, they've got backup generators, haven't they? So they were all right. But all these small businesses, I tell you one thing though, ice cream got really cheap really quickly. You could not walk 5 feet without somebody ramming a cornetto in your face. Honestly, it was euro. I don't want it. I don't want it if it's free. Padge, have you been a member for that long? That is extremely impressive. I think you're only surpassed by Christopher Shapley, DVM, CVA, CVCH, everybody's favorite American veterinarian, because he's been a member for 5 years. I didn't realize I'd had memberships for that long. I have indeed. I joined in no time when I found you. Thank you, Padge. Very much appreciated.
Do you know what I just realized is a huge detail you left out of your Benidorm holiday?
What?
You saw someone getting the absolute shit kicked out of them.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I did forget about that. How could I forget about that?
No.
I was walking along Levante Beach, and the next thing, this mobility scooter, and they do 2-seaters out there, sort of like so you can carry a pillion.
Yeah.
And this mobility scooter, it went wanging past me, right? It was easily doing 40 mile an hour. I didn't even know they could do that, right? I jokingly said to Mrs. Blind, oh, look, that guy in the moped can't even keep up with him. This is where it got interesting. So we were nearly at the end, and the next thing, this mobility scooter come to a sudden halt, and a BMW comes flying past me with 2 guys in it. The 2 kids that were on the mobility scooter jump off and do a runner. We got round the corner, and then it was carnage. So the 2 guys in the BMW and the guy on the motor scooter, I don't know.
Motor scooter?
Yeah, brum, brum.
No, I know, but that's
I've never they're like 750cc. I'm differentiating, Callum, between a council go-kart and a motorbike scooter. The 2 guys in the car gave chase because he tried to escape on foot, him and his mate buggered off and left him on his own. Obviously a very brave guy. Oof. And the 2 guys in the car ran him over to stop him. And then the guy who was on the scooter, the motorbike scooter, went around the BMW, hit him again, and drove over the top of him and pinned him down by his pelvis with the scooter. The next thing, these two Albanian guys get out of the BMW and they absolutely leather the shit out of him. And they just kept wailing on him in turns. A woman tried to intervene, and because they were getting aggressive towards her boyfriend tried to intervene in that intervention. He got a whack in the face, knocked spark out, knocked his missus over, a woman, and any man who hits a woman is very brave, aren't they? The police out there, they don't mess about. They got local police and national police. The local police are just a bit like, nah, mañana, yeah, break the law, we'll arrest you tomorrow, whatever, don't care. But the national police, they are like Starsky and Hutch. And that was just one of the things that happened out there. I'm really selling Benidorm. I do not work for the Benidorm Tourist Agency. That's all you're seeing out there.
Yeah, well, obviously that was the craziest altercation. But then that evening, about an hour later, you sent me another video of more people fighting.
Yeah, that was just a different fight.
Yeah,
that was a bloke and his girlfriend, wife, I don't know, partner.
Yeah.
And he was very drunk because we could see him crossing the road and he fell. Imagine that famous photo of the Beatles, but the Beatles were in the Superman position on a zebra crossing, right. And she was dragging him by his arms and she was really losing her rag. Neither of them could remember which hotel they were in, but that's just really normal out there. If anyone's been
that's just
there.
Funny. That's not really. What? So that was the video you sent me of the people fighting?
Yeah. I my phone was inside the apartment, and by the time I ran back in, remembered I was standing on the balcony in my underpants.
Yeah.
And put some shorts on and went back out. I only got the tail end of the show. Another really interesting thing about Benidorm that isn't interesting at all. So all the bars have got scouts. Come in, free shots, women doing things to each other, and oh no. What about some cocaine then? It's like, look, if I don't want shot, do you really? I'm not being funny. I'm in my 50s. It's like, do I look like the type of person who's going to go into a bar for free shots?
Maybe.
Yeah. Actually,
maybe
as I was saying that, maybe I do.
Maybe you do.
Yeah, maybe I do. But I don't. It's bizarre.